My name is Odile Tevie, and I'm one of the co-founders and the director of Nubuke Foundation. Nubuke Foundation is a visual arts organization in Ghana, set up in Ghana 20 years ago. We are based in Accra, and we also have Center for Textiles and Clay in the Upper West region in Wa. The journey of Nubuke has got myriads of people coming together in situations, really, and I guess it must have been serendipitous. There's three individuals coming together, but at the time, also in Ghana, there were very little opportunities for artists to showcase their work. Ghana was also coming out of several years of economic transformation, and so the time was right. The time was ripe, and we just happened to be here at the right time. Our goal was to set up an institution that was solely Ghanaian, that would view art and cultural production through the lens of Ghanaians, and really also create opportunity for Ghanaian artists to have a place to show their work and to sort of engage with their patrons, and also have an opportunity to network with their peers, creating opportunity for their career advancement. So that is really, in a nutshell, how it all began and why we started the organization. The idea of the organizations started way before 2006, which is what we're celebrating 20 years after 2006. But the idea started probably around 2002, 2003. We also wanted to come into Ghana because two of us lived abroad at the time, with a big bang. We didn't just want to come in and say, here we are this institution, and this is what we're about to do. So we came up with an idea of publishing a book, commissioning a photographic book on Ghana, and that started in 2003. We had a photographer coming to Ghana, a British photographer called Max Milligan. He was here for almost 18 months, traveling the length and breadth of Ghana, because we also wanted to present Ghana back to people like a photo album. When you go to people's houses, you have an album to show. We wanted to show off Ghana to people and let them take something back, and also something to give to people to take away when they're leaving. So this exercise took place for almost 18 months. We commissioned a photographic book by a British photographer called Max Milligan called Ghana, a Portrait. It's still actually very well received by the Ghanaian public and visitors to Ghana. So that was launched at the end of 2006, just before Ghana had its 50th independence anniversary. We actually did not have a space. We were itinerant organization with nowhere to call our home, because we didn't even reckon on the way people receive an arts organization at the time. So our first exhibition was in March 2007, which was about a group exhibition looking at Ghana being independent or independence. So the title of the exhibition was Independence in Dependence. So this was to get artists to speak about the situation of Ghana, our aspirations after 50 years of independence. Where do we want to go? As you know, when artists are giving a meaty topic like that, they go all out, and we have a wonderful exhibition. It was actually held at Artists Alliance at the time. It was not even open yet, the new building, but Professor Ablade Glover very kindly allowed us to use his gallery space for the launch. We are now currently in East Legon, and we moved here at the end of 2008. So in between that time, we were really not doing that much, looking for this place and looking for a place to call our home. And our first exhibition was held in 2009. It was an exhibition with Professor Amma de Graaf Akins, called Out of Your Mind. She is an academic who also works with psychology, and she worked with the Pantan Hospital, working with artists also, and they created an exhibition of the works of those at the Pantan Hospital and with artists. Also, again, looking at different topics within the arts and mental health. In 2009, we had a major exhibition with Mr. Dawson. Mr. Dawson was one of Ghana's first students at Slade in England, and his works are social commentaries on the part of Accra that he lives as is in Nima, where he has lots of drawings about Nima. So the exhibition was called Nitata. That was held here in May, I think, in 2009. I guess this gallery served its purpose for maybe up to 2014, and when we began to feel that we needed to expand and create a bigger place for the artists. In the meantime, we found ourselves in the Upper West region in Wa, on a totally different project, which made us also appreciate weaving culture in Ghana, because majority of the people in the Upper West who are women are weaving to augment their income. And we set about doing a bit more work with the weavers and exploring how art and traditional practice, there could be a fusion in that. That led us to working with a community in Nadoli, community of weavers in Nadoli, doing design intervention workshops that led us to setting up a center there, which is now called the Nubuke Foundation Center for Textiles and Clay. It was a way to bring some dynamism into our traditional artisanal practice, which is weaving. The weaving in the Upper West is peculiar. It's mostly stripes, and so it's different from what is done in the other parts of Ghana. But we also wanted to introduce design into the work that they're doing, help them also to think different ways about how weaving can be done in their part of the world. So in 2016, I believe, we had found a 10-acre site and found a way to put up a building there, a multi-purpose space that would allow us to be more permanent there and do more work and anchor ourselves within the community. Over the years, we realized that with the kind of work that Ghanaian artists were now practicing, our gallery space, which is a nice, cute residential building, was no longer fit for purpose, unfortunately. It's still a very beautiful building. That's where we are sitting at present. But we were very determined to create a place for artists to showcase their work in purpose-built gallery space. So I guess, again, that idea about a gallery was being birthed maybe around 2015. It took us a while to get there, but in 2017, we broke the ground to start the construction of a new gallery space. Beautiful gallery space. The building was commissioned so that it's airy and light, and the building stands back so that the artwork can stand out. So that is what we have. We also have our green space, which we didn't give up. And anybody who's familiar with Ghana knows that all patches of green space are taken up by concrete buildings. We're very proud and happy that we can put up a gallery space and still embrace nature. We have trees and around us, and everybody comes into this place and still calls it an oasis. 2019, we very proudly opened a new gallery, and also very proudly show the exhibition of James Banner, a 90-year-old Ghanaian photographer who has spent probably more than half of his life living abroad. And I think I can say with confidence that after that exhibition, a number of galleries in Europe started showing his work. We have 2 anchor programs. One of them is the YGA. YGA is very, very important to us as an institution because we started the institution because of young Ghanaian artists. The YGA actually started quite informally, and I'm going to speak about that a bit later because a very young man who was in high school, who used to come here and pester us, was like, "Why don't you do more for, high school students?" And we created an opportunity for, actually, most of our group exhibitions at the beginning were for high school students. So TIS, Lincoln, a lot of the schools. We really wanted to encourage students who were studying art in high school not to drop it when they got to university, because that was a pressure from their parents. What are you going to do with art? And we really wanted to show them in a gallery space professionally. It was not what they're doing in school where, the works are hung as scans. We really put everything into making sure that the exhibitions were hung professionally and beautifully. And so when their parents came, they'd look at their children, again and see, ooh, there's something going on here that we should pay attention to. So that's how it was birthed. So we decided to call it the Young Ghanaian Artists Program, and it was a way of singling out one artist in a year who'd go through a rigorous sort of professional development program with us, helping them with their ideas, their concepts, their execution, the articulation of their work, and also helping, introducing them to other professionals, and that would benefit them in their career, legal advisory, and all of that. And then they'd have a solo exhibition in our gallery. Two artists who have been through our YGA, the formal YGA, I must add, are Nachi Reindorf and Isaac Nanapoku. Those two have actually represented Ghana in the Venice Biennale in 2022. There have only been two iterations of Ghana in the Venice Biennale. And the second one, these were the two artists who were showing out of three. So I think that's quite impressive on our part. That notwithstanding, I like that expression, that notwithstanding, we've had several artists who have been through Nubuke who are quite successful now in their careers. We don't take all the credit because it's a bigger ecosystem in the art world in Ghana today, but definitely nurturing them and getting them to a confident place so that they are able to work with galleries or any other art institutions. We're very happy about that. For the numbers, I think last count, we are more than 240 artists that Nubuke has worked with over the years. So we've had probably 15 artists who have been through the YGA program in the last 20 years. Because we didn't start at the beginning. We started probably around 2013, 2014. And successful, very successful, I must add. One of the important developments that has come out of our presence in the Upper West has been the Wari Festival. The Wari Festival came about because we felt that the community also needed to see all the dynamism taking place, because you look and learn. You learn from what everybody else is doing, apart from coming into our space or maybe being with the weaving associations. It's difficult to realize that a lot of injection has gone into the weaving practice in the Upper West. So we really wanted to showcase this. Additionally, when we started the work in the Upper West, we had an MOU with an university in Austria. And so their work also was very instrumental in the growth of work that we did in the Upper West. So we wanted to showcase that. So the idea of the festival came up maybe late 2019. Unfortunately, and because of COVID in 2020, we had to shift the festival. So the first iteration was had in 2021. We called it the Wari Festival, which is celebrating the worth and the wealth of the Upper West region, showcasing the dynamism of the weavers, all the workshops that take place, all the learnings that they've had, and sharing to the public, and also making that an anchor for other creatives in the Upper West region. So a lot of workshops, a lot of master classes, and also an art exhibition. We use that platform to showcase textile and fiber practice of artists in Ghana. So that really for us was quite an important development, and it was a really a way to showcase what the changes that are happening within Ghana's art practice. A lot of artists taking on textile and fiber, and giving them that opportunities to really hold their own within the festival was key. During the festival, we had art talks, we had master classes, we had seminars, especially for the weavers, giving them opportunity to speak to the municipal authorities, the regional minister, those were academics about what was going on in their work so that we could feed policy or, ways in which we could improve the work of the weavers. So this year we didn't have the festival because the aim is to make it a festival that happens every 2 years. As a very small institution, it is a big challenge to stop our work and focus on the festival on an annual basis. It also gives us time to think through and look for the money that is needed to have the festival. So next year, we're hoping that we can pick up the baton again and run the festival. Same way, celebrating weaving community, celebrating the artists, celebrating the creatives. A lot of creatives have come through the festival: film, audio, books, fashion. Fashion is also the big component. Bringing fashion designers who are using fabric solely that is woven in the Upper West was very important as well. The community that we work in the Upper West is not just the weavers. In fact, we found out that there were two schools who are also weaving, the School of the Blind and the School of the Deaf. So they have also been included in our programs from the onset of our work in the Upper West. So design intervention, providing them with materials, again, bringing in professionals to work with the school, two schools, doing lots of workshops. They're also included in the festival. The work of the blind children, included with the work of the weavers, has gone with us to the art fair in 154 in London, the Royal Academy exhibition a couple of years ago in London as well. And the work of the weavers was shown in the Textile Triennale in Poland. So really, our work is to showcase what is going on in the Upper West, find opportunities for them to be seen, in the public, to engage with them, and also to patronize the work that they're doing. And so we are doing that with our work. Being part of the Arts Collaboratory allowed us to do the research in Upper West. Arts Collaboratory, it's a group of about 15 arts organizations like ours, founded by individuals all over the global South, a lot of them in South America, in Africa, Southeast Asia. So being part of this network was also a way of institutional strengthening. That supported the work that we did in Upper West, all the research. Once upon a time, there were no flights to Upper West, so we had to drive. So it took us 2 days of driving to get to the Upper West region. So that tells you that we are really quite dedicated in the work that we're doing there, and it has paid off. So I'd like to say thank you to the Dune, it's the foundation, for allowing us to do that. Over the years, we've also had grants from other organizations, including the EU, British Council, individual patronage, those who have supported the artists. That's allowed us to get some money out of the artist support. And even just people coming through our doors are very important for us to give artists the encouragement. Individual donations have come through. People have been silently and quietly, anonymously supporting us, and we are extremely grateful for that. Babel Miller actually is one of the architect of that building, has really provided a lot of us that support, just being encouraging and connecting us to a different world of academics, and academics in Austria especially. I don't mean this to be a thank you session, so Don't take it as that at that. So if your name is not in, it's not intended. Many years ago, I went to Pompeii. Pompeii was destroyed, and then you walk through. The archaeologists are excavating this place, and you can see how life was then. It was totally being preserved. You can see how the rich people lived, their kitchens, their living area, and all of that. The drawings on the walls, and everything was depicted. Really, if we have to leave a legacy, I'd like to think that if one day anybody walks in here, they can sift through all the debris and tell us that there was an important institution that existed in this place just by our legacy on the walls, in the couches, in the paraphernalia, in our books, in the paintings. Yeah, and the legacy of Nubuke is already here with us. We have artists who are ambassadors to Ghana today. And 20 years ago, nobody was paying attention to artists. So how is it that artists are now ambassadors of Ghana? It's because of the work that we've put in. And when a tree is growing, nobody looks at what is going on in the ground. The roots are tapping into the soil, drawing the minerals way before it shows itself above the ground. So that's the work we've been doing, really investing in the Ghanaian artists, in the ecosystem, in developing them, in their ideas, their concepts, making them strong enough to hold their own worldwide. And that is our legacy. That is what we're leaving behind for Ghana. We're also leaving behind a healthy group of art patrons, people who are sufficiently interested in art to get up from their houses to come into Nubuke to look at art. It's very important for Ghana that our artists have got patrons, people who are interested in what they have to say and how they're doing it, and interested enough to be their critiques and encouraging them to continue working. That is a big legacy that we have to leave. Nubuke is not just actually about the visual artists. One of the ways that we sought to bring audiences here was to tap into other energies, other creative energies. So we're looking at the poets, we're looking at drama, we're looking at music, we're looking at reading. In the local schools, that was one of the ways we brought children into Nubuke with reading classes. So there's a lot of children now in Labawaleshi who would have come in here for reading classes, reading clinics, I should say, and would have gone back totally enriched by meeting artists, being involved in workshops. Actually, the sculpture behind here was done by the Bawalechi children who came here because they wanted to improve their reading skills, but we drew them into doing art. So that's one of our legacies. That's something that is living and here. The poets, the Halakasa group, started under a very tiny tree outside. They used to come here to read poetry to each other and be peers to each other. And that grew because people heard that there was a group of people who came here on Saturday evenings and read poetry to each other. So those who were interested in poetry started dropping in, and it became a movement, a Halakasa movement. Actually, this week, we've had a visit from Chief Mumen, and he told his staff that he and a host of poets started their careers here. And if you know about Chief Mumen, you know that he's now got this massive theater group called Mansa World, and he's doing extraordinarily well. And I was very happy to hear it from him, acknowledging that his career in poetry and interest in a whole lot of other things started at Nubuke. We also have drama, a theater workshop. Elizabeth Sutherland, she started here. She started here as a student. She used to come here to do her holiday training, and I drew her in. I also asked her to draw in the children in the Bawaleshi community. So that has grown. She's drawn all these children into her plays. She made them write their own plays. She made them direct their own plays. And they were very happy, excited, brought their parents in to watch. So that is a legacy, unintentional legacy of Nubuke, but it's also a way of growing a network of creatives. We are doing the same in the Upper West as we're doing in Accra. So the legacy of Nubuke is far-reaching. Oh, that's Elizabeth. I see her just go past. So yeah, that's the work we've done. Even though we like to focus on the visual artists, our work has gone beyond just the visual artists. We're doing quite a lot with different networks of people in Ghana, within the sub-region, worldwide.